Yeah. So, all right. So we're moving on now. We're going to go on to the next article. Final article. There are reports that Naughty Dog is working on the Last of Us remake. Now, listen to that word again. Last of Us remake, not a remaster, a remake. The article from Game Informer explains of a report from Bloomberg that originally the game was assigned to a smaller. Yeah, Kevin's walking away right now. So the Bloomberg reported that originally the game was assigned to a small studio. However, Sony did not want to give them the proper resources since there were some difficulties with smaller studios and policies, a lot of corporate bullshit. So when they moved the rights back to Naughty Dog to make this, for some reason they got all the support they needed. So probably because Sony works directly with Naughty Dog, there's a lot more, I guess, leeway. I don't know what it is, but there's also a lot more details in the article. If you're interested, I'll also leave a link in the description if anyone wants to read that in the audio version or the pre-recorded versions or anything like that. So my questions are for this article anyways. What are your thoughts on the remake for this game? And what are your thoughts on the negligence about a smaller devs working on it and then just moving on to a bigger studio? Like now they're the ones that have all the attention and the finances for it. Kevin, since you wanted to walk away.
Oh, hot seat.
Oh, I'm in the hot seat. Hold on. I'm chilly. I got to put this jacket on because apparently I'm on the seat.
The first question is, what do you think of the remake?
Can I be like honest?
You can say whatever the hell you want.
All right, listen. I don't really care much for The Last of Us, and I know that sounds like a very
all right, Kevin, you're fired, and I'd like to thank you for joining us on the.
So
it was an
I too am fired because I never even played him. So
no, I've played the game, but I've
this
never.
Will be the last episode. We see the Sober Guardian, Boneless Bone, and Ragnarok.
Ooh, everyone gets fired.
Oh, I gotcha.
Go on.
Oh.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I've played Last of Us, and I see Last of Us 1. I didn't beat it. I'm not gonna say I beat the game because that's misleading. I got like I would say a good 20 hours, like 8 hours in, and then like I dropped the game and I forgot about it. And honestly, them remaking the game, it's like a kind of whatever feeling because they already did that with like the P3 to P3 to P4, and then P4 to P5 is like it's bound to happen. So I was just like oh wow, again? How many times are you gonna bring this game back? That's like me asking the question of how many times they're going to re-release Resident Evil 4 on PlayStation or the new gens.
Yeah,
so that's the question. So it's like a whatever kind of feeling, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
But they're re-releasing Resident Evil 4, right? Not remaking Resident Evil 4. There's a big difference.
There's nothing solid yet on that yet.
Oh, I'm just saying. Not even. There's a huge difference in remaking.
No, of course. No. But what he's saying is that it's like they keep on shitting it out whenever like they want to make a good sale or something.
Yeah.
Because people bought it for the PS3, sold like fucking hotcakes. They were like, "Oh, Last of Us Remaster, PlayStation 4," like that, just immediately sold. Now for the PS5, everyone is just gonna like slobber all over it. Honestly.
Yeah, and I think the reason why they're doing this, and the reason why they're doing this, is not just for the money, but because they want it for the money and for the PR for the show that's going to be coming out on HBO for it.
Yes.
So what worries me is that they're going to do this remake, and they're going to do it similar to how they're going to make the show, and possibly even remodel Joel and Ellie as the character models for the actors in the show, which will piss me the fuck off if they actually do that. But
I mean,
those are my thoughts.
As a Pedro Pascal, is that his name?
Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Right. You don't want to play as him?
It's just Joel and Ellie, like as characters in this franchise, even though it's just 2 games, it's still a huge franchise. Like they're iconic. Like they're a big deal in the franchise, and changing their character model just for the sake of the new TV show that they're gonna do, I think it's disrespectful and fucked up to all the fans.
I mean, they did the same thing with they changed the models for
Spider-Man.
No, not for Spider-Man. For Devil May Cry, they
Yeah.
changed Dante Virgil,
They
Nero.
even made
They
fun
look,
of it too. Remember when like the mop
yeah,
head fell on him and he was like, "Yeah, no."
Oh,
yeah.
and DMC, yeah.
Yeah.
In DMC, but in DMC 5, everybody looks more realistic. So it's like I don't really think it would affect the impact that the game would give. I feel like it's just going to be one of those things that it's the way that they're trying to interpret the character. But I would say just stick true to the game and keep the models because the models look great. They look as close to human as possible. So it's like if you change it, it's gonna just defeat the purpose of whatever. Or they can just make the models look good and then just have the voice actors for Ellie and Joel just be in the game, which I think it wouldn't change as much. But that's just my opinion.
So, Randy, what are your thoughts on just the remake in general?
Not excited, but I mean, I'll watch it online. Would I play it? Probably not. I played it once already. If it's gonna be the same shit, just prettier with like a different mechanic here and there, I I don't care for it, honestly. You
So
know what I mean?
what? Because it's a remake, I would think like because we talked about like there is a difference between remaster and remake. So if it was a remake and they kind of changed the gameplay a little bit, maybe to make it more so too, I would assume just for it to be an upgrade. Is there anything that they could add on that could like draw you to the game better more?
Honestly, no. Like the person. Okay, so with one, I have absolutely no qualms with it. I loved it. I did play the shit out of it. Did I replay it? No, of course not.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that what is it? They're just beating a fucking dead horse with a stick.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to fix anything. They don't need to make it prettier. Just leave it as it is. If they
Mm-hmm.
want to get it for the P4, they get it for the P4. If they want to get it for the 3, they get it for the 3. If they want to like download it or like emulate it or whatever the fuck, just let them do that. There's no need to, keep going back to the same fucking IP over and over again. Make something new.
Yeah. Danny,
That it's as if they go, "Hey,
So
we're remaking Uncharted again." For what?
you saying
if
Danny?
they remade the first Kingdom Hearts, would you play that?
One second, sorry. I'm taking a sip. I'm taking a sip.
Silence.
I tried to swallow. I tried to swallow midway as he asked that question. But okay, you're asking that. But here's the thing: I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge Last of Us fan. So in asking
Yeah,
that question, I definitely would. I would get that in a fucking heartbeat.
me too.
It's the same
But
thing with people that like play Resident Evil. Yes, they keep coming out with 4 over and over and over again,
Yeah.
but because I don't enjoy Resident Evil that much, I'm not gonna get it
Well,
like in every format that it comes
this
out on.
this
There are
question
those that love
is
it.
this question that I'm asking is a matter of opinion. So it does make sense that Randy could say fuck The Last of Us, but I would still play a Kingdom Hearts remake. That would make sense.
No,
I
of
was like,
course.
for me, if they did a Destiny 1, fuck yeah, I would play that game. If they remade Destiny 1 to play like Destiny 2, I would
well, that's
certainly
oh,
do
that's
that.
my that's kind of my point. Is
Hmm.
I think it's too soon. I think it's really
Yeah,
too soon
I
to
do
do a
too.
remake for a game
Oh
like
no, of
this.
course.
I
Yeah.
think
Hell yeah.
ultimately that I think that's the main issue that I have with this is that it's
Give
way
it 2 more
too.
years,
The game
then do
looks.
it.
I should give it like 5 years, honestly.
I would give it to
You
like
know,
whenever
give
they ended the
Let
Last of Us series. Like if they ended the series and then they can kind of touch the games again, then sure.
Like
yeah, like
at least my fault for cutting you off, Danny. I just want to say this. Just
that's
at
fine.
least let like Last of Us Part 2 marinate before you even do it.
They still
Like it's
talk
not
about
even
it.
it hasn't been like a full year since Last of Us 2 came out.
Yeah.
Like a full 2 years. So it's
That's
like
and that's
yeah.
my big issue with it is that it's part two just came out. It's still kind of fresh in people's minds.
Mhm,
People stop even playing it. You know,
mhm,
let that marinate before you start to release another one. And yeah, the game might
Yeah.
not come out for another 3 years, but I think you need at least 10 fucking years to go by before you say, okay, this is. I mean, yeah, I think it probably has been for 2007. I think it was. What's the original? Anybody know?
No,
the original Last of Us.
2013.
Yeah,
So
No.
question,
the original
question,
Last.
weird question. So because The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 is still fresh in our heads because we were saying that The
Yeah,
Last of Us
2015.
15.
No, 2013.
Oh, 13.
13.
Okay. So we're saying that The Last of Us is still fresh in our heads, but we were probably leaning more towards, let's say, a Uncharted remake. or even like a reboot of the franchise or something. Do you think the reason why we would be more willing for like a Uncharted remake is because there are more iterations of the game? There's a whole legacy. There's four base games and like 4 or 5 spin-offs. There's a lot in that franchise. If there was more of The Last of Us in the franchise, like let's say 5, 6 more games, would we be willing to accept more of a Last of Us Part 1 remake?
Yeah, because they solidified the same way. While like Rand, the guy with the R,
Yeah,
is
you got, no,
willing to
you had it.
play.
You had it. Hold on, wait.
Guy with
Wait,
the
let
R.
him figure it out. Hold on.
Yeah.
You were on the right track. Keep going. Keep going. You could do it.
Randall.
He hates that.
Not Randall. What is it?
It's definitely not Randall. It's Randy.
It's definitely Randall. You had it right. You had it right. It's Randall.
Kevin. I will hurt you.
It's like Randall was saying that.
Fuck me.
Welcome back, Randall.
I will back it up.
Oh man, you do know, Danny, you could just like look at the screens and on your Discord, and it shows Ragnarok. You just call him that.
Either just say Rig, Fred for now,
Yeah.
even.
Okay.
Ragnarok.
Freddy.
So you were saying, Danny?
I forgot.
Oh jeez.
I
More
think you were going to
games
say what?
with, as I was saying with Kingdom Hearts. and whatnot.
Hearts.
What?
No, I fucking forgot my topic.
So I was asking if The Last of Us was as long of a franchise as Uncharted, would it be more palatable to have a remake for The Last of Us?
Because Last of Us doesn't have a rich history right now, only have 2 games. You can't really build a world, universe type of thing based off of that, because you can't build that. You have the Kingdom Hearts, you have that. That's why he's so quick to go. Yeah, I would definitely play a remake, because it's been so long since we probably played the original first one. It probably hasn't been that long since people played the first Last of Us, because when Part 2 came out last year or 3 fucking months ago, it feels like. I think it really hasn't been, it hasn't been that long. People played the first one so they can get the original into their head before they played the second one. So if you played the first one a year ago, why would you want to remake that game?
Yeah.
You know? And the biggest thing that I can see of why they're doing it is this HBO show. They're making an HBO show. They have to extend it because we talked about this before. Video games can't translate to a full series, to a movie even, because there is so much because you're playing the game, you're controlling it, you're creating the story almost. You can't, a movie that kind of tells you what's going on is way different than what's in your head. So maybe they'll make this game that it's way more like elongated on story, probably a much longer game, and it's more on pace of what the show's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which wouldn't be that bad of a thing. I mean, yeah, it would be annoying, but at least if you're watching the show and you're playing the game at the same time, you'd be like, wow, they really did a decent job.
Knowing me, as much as I don't agree with the remake, I will still probably play it just because I'm interested in the world and the show and everything else.
How would you guys feel, right? Honestly, I know this is like a sideball like question, but how would you feel if they make it like a Telltale game? Like it's just story driven.
That would actually make more sense because the Telltale games, like the Walking Dead series, for example, it's side stories that don't focus on the main characters of the show. It's like it's still in the world and it focuses on character development on other people's lives and aspects and stuff like that. So that would make a lot more sense. Like you don't have to always focus on Joel and Ellie.
And they stated that it started from a small developer that is turning big.
Yeah.
It's giving the money like a big company to do this. That's just big. They're not becoming a big company. They're giving the money, giving all the resources that a bigger company would get. But it's still a smaller company that can probably only put out so much at the end of the day. So it probably will be like thinking of remake because all the remakes that have been coming out lately have been from a 2D game or from a crappy game into this phenomenal, you know, Final Fantasy again, like Final Fantasy 7 to Final Fantasy 7 remake. That is a huge jump, and we're thinking that's what they're gonna do for the next Last of Us. They're gonna make this huge jump, which they're not. Probably gonna go backwards. They're probably, like you said, gonna do like this smaller game that is all driven, storyline driven only. This tall tale, what as you said, and it would be smart because it would be more on par with trying to create more talk for the HBO show. So when they do extra people or side stories or whatever it is, you go, oh, that's from the game
Yeah.
or the remake.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna toss my 2 cents. If they make the game a lot like the show, there's gonna be no point in watching or playing the fucking thing if it's gonna be like side to side comparison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only way that it
Yeah.
would work out, tying out with the show, would be if it's a prequel of sorts, or as Danny had just said, like, side characters. For it to be a Telltale, then it would definitely have to be nothing to do with Joel and Ellie. It cannot be anything like the show at all.
Well, it definitely won't be a
Or
Telltale
just
game, as nice as that would be, because
Obviously
Naughty
not.
Dog is the one developing it, so it's going to be in vein of like the original in some
No,
sort of
yeah.
way.
Well,
Yeah.
Telltale-esque.
well, we
It-
still
Yeah.
don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what. Yeah, it'd be, like I said, we don't know what's gonna be, what it's gonna be, and I really truly feel like it's not gonna be a full like Last of Us type game. They're gonna call it a remake or call it whatever they want it to call, but it's just to give it more storyline, give it more depth, and that you can't, because it's impossible, especially for a show. It's different if it was a movie. If they were making a movie on HBO from Last of Us, then yeah, you probably have the right amount of content because the game, especially the Last of Us game, that game is more storyline driven anyway
Yeah.
than like Resident Evil, whatever it is. So you can make a movie out of that. But to make a shows WandaVision, whatever is, Falcon and Winter Soldier right now. Falcon and Winter Soldier is just long. It's just a long movie. They're able to do way more in 12 episodes that you could do in 2 hours. You have 12 hours versus 2 hours. So you need more. You need to put more. And I think that's what the game's going to have. They have to add more into it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. Last topic.
Last
what they
thought.
can
Last
do,
thought.
last thought. So what they could do is they can at least, like, I would say, let's say for example it's 12 episodes, they can at least base 6 episodes leading up to like what Joel and Ellie is doing, and it can relate to like some point in the game, because it's not hard to bring it back to the original characters if they're gonna do it, or just have them like do a little cameo and that's it. Have the story be based on something else to lead up to the story. Don't make it like, as Randy said, a side by side comparison, because I can play the game. I can basically play the TV show rather than watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Ruin some
But at
things.
the same
All right.
time, when we want to play the Resident Evil game, I mean the movie, when you see the new Resident Evil movie that's coming out, we want to see a lot of scenes from that game. We talked about that. We want to see that because we're fans.
Here's the thing. Yes, but also with the Resident Evil thing, it's more you want to see certain scenes for like the campiness of it, mainly for like the fan service of like, oh,
Yeah.
you were almost a Jill sandwich type shit, right? But with The Last of Us, they made it too serious for its own good. The best thing they can do
Yeah.
is to pull a Quantum Break, where the game is a thing of itself and the show is a thing of itself, but they're still the same universe. So The Last
Yeah.
of Us HBO show has to be different but similar to The Last of Us remake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Like The Watchmen. The Watchmen is the new Watchmen TV show is a great example because it technically in that universe and with in a place with those stories, but it's not a word for word book. And for me, it was still phenomenal. You didn't
need to
like The
watch that.
Watchmen?
No. I was like, I need to watch it. I've seen the movie, but I've never watched the TV show. I was looking for people to recommend it.
Trust me, that was
There
one of
you
my
go.
favorite shows of all time last year.
I'm watching it.
Especially if you even read the comic book at all.
Not as much because it was too grown up for me, and I haven't found the copy yet.
The comic was good, but it's good. It's really good. It's really. Have you watched that yet, Danny?
I'm sorry. What was it?
The
I
Watchmen.
watched the Watchmen.
No, I have it
The
on
show.
my list, and
You have to put
I
that.
have yet to
Make
watch
that
it.
your next one.
Yeah.
Make that your next list. I'm telling you.